Hi you guys, Ginger Cook here, and this Thursday we're going to be doing a special painting that I think you guys are going to really like, particularly if you're intending to give a gift for Father's Day. It's going to be the golf course off of California. What's it called? Pebble Beach.
Pebble Beach, hole number 7.
And somebody in our live studio audience who enters to have in our live drawing will take this one home, but we'll show you how to paint it. And if you don't win, you can paint it yourself. And more to come, so other ideas for Father's Day, so stay tuned.
Ginger Cook, the queen of color, with a blazing brush at the speed of light, and a blank canvas, and a hearty yes and yes. The queen of color, Ginger Cook, and her sidekick, John Little, teach you to paint with acrylics. Well, Ginger, Father's Day once again is upon us.
I know, isn't that just amazingly fun?
I believe a week from Sunday.
A week from Sunday, and you know, a lot of times that people want, some of our artists want to paint something for Dad, and dads always appreciate getting gifts. I think, and particularly something that you made. So today we're going to be painting. I'll show you real quick a golf course, and I have it on a neutral gray background. People say, how do you decide the underpainting? Well, if you don't know, you're always pretty safe with gray. You know, if you just aren't sure, gray's pretty good. This neutral gray, you can either get lighter or darker from there. You want to talk about your, want to have your grayscales handy, so that you can see, like, for instance, this gray is really probably closer to just this side of the grayscale, you see, where it starts. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that.
First one on the dark side.
On the dark side, there's also, these little color wheels have a grayscale too, which you can then, slip under, see, you can put it like that and kind of see where it is. You can see it's right there. And that's really important. And during the day, we'll talk a little bit about why that's important for you to know. And that's something that, you got to, you're thinking about when you're doing a painting. Sometimes you just think it's the colors. But because acrylics dry darker, you may think you have the correct value, which value meaning whether something's lighter or darker than something else, and you turn around and you look and it just got darker on you. You're going, huh, I swear that. And then the other thing we're going to talk about in this landscape is we're talking about foreground, middle ground, and background.
Whoa.
I haven't really addressed that as much, and I think that
Now's the day.
now today's the day we're going to talk about that too. So I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm using the Salvador paints. I should have the new set up here to show, John, just not the ones I'm using. We should have the brand new set. But basically, in the these are high quality acrylic paints. There's like 24 paints in the set, plus a bunch of brushes and stuff. And somebody today in the audience that's watching us live will win a set of those paints as well. And during one of the times when I have to dry this painting, John's going to tell you guys that live in Europe something about
some updated information.
About, which is way cool. So excited about that. Those are some things we're going to talk about, and also some other paintings that you might want to do for Father's Day. So as you can see, we're
just an action-packed show.
This is a very, very famous golf course on Pebble Beach, and it's right there on the ocean. If you miss the hole, I guess your ball goes in the water.
And that's a real water hazard.
And that's what you call a water hazard. But what I want to do is I want to divide the background into this canvas into 3 sections: foreground, middle ground, and background. Background, of course, would be the sky. Yes and yes. So I'm just going to draw a line across here like that. And generally speaking, anytime you're dealing with an ocean, you really want this line to be very level. If it tips, all the water on the planet will just fall off, and you wouldn't want to be the one responsible for that.
You have some answering to do.
You would. You'd have some answering. Now the next one is I think I'm going to go just a little bit above half like this, and I'm going to say I've got my golf hill. Here's the middle right here. So just come the other side of that and just come on down like that. All right. So this was going to be my background, middle ground, and foreground. Okay. And that's how this is going to be. And even though there may be some divisions here as part of the foreground, the main part of this foreground, here's our V here, is going to be kind of a heart on its side, in case you were wondering how to draw that in. This is basically your sand trap. They've got another one over here because they're just not nice people. They put sand traps everywhere. And then this is sort of wilderness here in the front. And then back in here is going to be our ocean, and there's going to be a little peninsula. So what would be nice, if you're deciding to do this and you like it, like I said, it's a pretty famous golf course, I would make this a little longer and wider myself. I think it would be more interesting, kind of stretch it out, but this works as a rectangle too. So here's the thing. Our center of interest is going to be this wave that's going to be crashing very close to our light sand trap, okay? So that's where our center of interest is going to be. So everything else is sort of hanging out with that. Does this make sense? We're all just hanging out, but this is really what we're talking about, the wave and this brighter green golf course. So I don't know, hope that's helpful. And we want to welcome our moderators. John, perhaps while I'm getting some paint out there. Before we do that, though, let me just tell you that if you didn't have all these blues from the set, you'd really be dealing with ultramarine blue and phthalo blue. So my sky's going to be, this is ultramarine blue right here with a little white, titanium white. And I'm just going to come up here like this and paint in my sky. And I think it's a little bright. It has a kind of a, you remember when Kodak used to ever have a brownie camera and you take the picture and the sky was real bright? It's a little bright. Let's put a tiny bit of purple in it. There you go. Let's just tone that down just a bit. Just give it, there we go. And
Much
then,
better.
And then we're going to just wipe the paint off the brush, go into white paint, and come down here like this. Now, okay, you with me? Just we're going to ignore that. Now, wipe the brush again. Okay. Now, using the back of the brush, just come on back down here and just sort of create some marine clouds. Okay? There we go. Something like that. You don't have to get anything too clever. Just make sure you keep this back line straight. And this is your marine clouds. Yes and yes? That's this sort of, and if it got a little too light, you can put a little shadow in them a little bit like that. So John, who's our moderators? Why I'm painting this in here?
Who's our moderators? We have Steffi, Liz, Luann, Tonya, Judy. We have the full staff.
Wow. You know, and we talk about, even though we're not talking about the quarantine quickies anymore, we are talking about the fact that most of us have been very diligently staying inside, okay? John and I went to the...
We're so chicken to go out.
We're too chicken to go out. John and I went to the eye doctor yesterday, the optometrist.
That was quite an experience there.
Well, that was not, you know, it was very efficient. You know,
They're very efficient.
They took your temperature. They had you answer a questionnaire, like if you've been sick and fevers and all, known anybody that was sick, and before you ever got past the lobby, and then they had people spaced apart in the most brilliant way, and we got out of there in about an hour with glowing.
Hour and a half, wasn't bad.
Yeah, glowing reports. So we were happy about that. Yes. So, I mean, that was good, right? So, but better than that, we're not going out. And so I know some of you may, like us, to be hunkered in here. So painting can be kind of a relief, you know.
Hunkered in here.
Well, I think we're all hunkered down. And,
Yeah,
you know,
we're all hunkered down.
And so anyway, just...
Is it hunkered or hankered?
So we didn't do a fist bump. Let's do a fist bump, you guys. Fist bump. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
We're going to be together, though we're not. Woohoo! Fist bump. All right.
We're distant socializing.
All right, so I'm going to take a little bit of the purple and ultramarine blue color. And I want to
Ooh, Carol went to the eye doctor yesterday. No temperature was taken. Oh, not good.
Wow. Yeah, they took
That's
ours.
risky.
We didn't get in the door. Of course, we go to a guy, and I don't mind saying his name. His name is Dr. Sun in Tomball.
Wonderful guy.
And he's got a wonderful reputation as a tremendous eye surgeon. And most of the time, I've been seeing him for a number of years, and most of the people that I see in his waiting room are over 50. And I think he's taking very good care of his patients. That's what I would say. Wouldn't you say, John?
John, audio and visual don't match. I wonder. Anybody else experiencing that? To turn mine on, I have to play it, and it may disrupt everything. So, anybody else seeing a difference there?
I'm adding a little zinc white here.
Zinc white is a transparent white.
So if you didn't have that, I guess you could use titanium, but zinc white is a little bit, you get it a little bit softer. Jerry Yarnell, do you guys remember him? He used to be on PBS. Jerry Yarnell's an acrylic painter. I think he's a terribly good artist. Everybody has different ways of doing things. He used to use gesso to make it. He painted with gesso. He would paint with gesso because it's chalky, and it would give everything a very flat look. I mean, I don't do that, but you know, I suppose if I didn't have zinc white and I had gesso, I might be tempted to use that. Well, gesso is very opaque. It won't, but it'll soften the white. Anyway, so we're coming up here. We're still doing the blue, but we're getting a little bit brighter. And I think what I want to do is put a little turquoise in the front here, even though that's probably not totally true, because this is California, so there's too much pollution for this ocean to be that turquoise. But I'm putting it in anyway, because I think water generally gets lighter as you come forward. You know. As it gets shallower, and if it's real dark, it's pretty deep, you know. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put that in there anyway because I think it's pretty. No other reason than I like it, right? I like it.
Apparently, Jerry Yarnell is on PBS on Saturday mornings.
Yeah, he's a very good acrylic artist. I think so. I like, you know, but I watched him do that, and it's just, you know, it's just kind of his thing. That's what kind of he does. So
well, like that other artist, you know, what was it, Hawaii, that does red backgrounds?
Yeah, she just.
And somebody else does gold backgrounds?
Yeah, yeah.
For the horses?
Yeah, the Humphrey. Yeah, Humphrey does the gold background. So you see I'm putting a few little dark streaks in this water. Something to remember, you can get your painting too busy. You need something for does your eye have places to rest? And in a painting like this, if you start getting all choppy with waves back here, the farther things are away from themselves, the smaller they get. So you can't have a big fat white wave back here because it'll just wreck the whole thing. So just try to, this is why, okay, you guys, this is why we have reference photos. And we don't make it up.
Really?
Yep.
Takes all the challenge out of it.
You know what I mean? It's just, I know that's my thing. I mean, you could have 6 different reference photos of this and maybe do a combination of all of those. But basically, it's very helpful. If you don't want to copy the photo exactly, but you still want the reference photo, print it out in black and white. So that at least you get the values right and you won't have a big fat wave where it doesn't go. All right, so I'm going to take a little bit of a kind of a cad red medium and purple, and I'm going to make sort of this darker brown purple color. And I'm going to come back up here, and I'm going to put this little landmass here, right here on the. This is part of the historic scene here. So I want to make sure I put it because it's.
It's part of the landmark.
Here's the thing: when you're painting golf courses, these golfers are so particular. You know what I mean? They just. Particularly if you're saying it's a certain thing, and they get all nuts. So we're going to say that we're inspired by this golf course if it's slightly different than the way you remember it. Maybe they had an earthquake or...
Well, it probably is, because I did a little photoshopping on that image that you're using.
Did you? All right. All right. So, yeah, it may not be exact, but it's good enough for what we want to do. Yes?
Oh, absolutely.
So you can see that, right?
You still get the gist of the whole.
I might take a little of this gold color and come along the beach back here and just That's a little too much gold, but let me wipe the brush off so that...
Susan says it must be an adjustment having your daughter further away from you.
Well, she was an hour away anyway, so we really didn't get to see each other very much. And
We have Skype.
Either she was busy, I was busy, somebody had a cold. I probably will see her now more she's moved, right? You know, but you know, they very much like where they're living, which is kind of neat. All right, so you see I had a little bit of that, kind of a little bit of a gold back there to indicate some land, and then we're going to take some of this zinc white and come along here like this underneath that. Just these little angle brushes are so nice. We're going to suggest that there's a little bit of a light edge to that. So that was easy, yes and yes. Yes and yes. So we have some good news. John went to the mailbox the other day, and everybody that won paintings, they're in the mail. So if you were one of our painting winners, they are in the mail. We're all caught up with that.
And I got a special present.
And John got they went to the mailbox, and John got a special present. We're going to show you guys that. Somebody sent John a present. We're going to talk about that. And, you know, all good things, yes and yes. So I'm going to come around here like this and just put a little of this blue color right here next to, I want a little bit of this, little tiny bit of this. I want some magenta, I think. What's the color I'm missing here? There we go. Magenta is a very nice way to kind of soften a blue too. Let's try it. Let's just do that while we're doing it. A little bit of white here. Here's some magenta. So I just didn't want that bright right there, because that's going to be here. Just humor me for a minute here. I'm going to just suggest there's going to be a wave in here. It's coming this way. There we go. Like that. All right, so that's going to be a little bit different than you normally think. I have to let that dry. So anyway, John, any questions?
Where did Cinema move?
She moved to Pennsylvania. She moved to Pennsylvania. So.
She wanted to have cold weather. Been there, done that.
Yeah, she's never, Cinnamon was raised in Aspen, Colorado until she was 5. So she had some experience with the snow. She has very fond memories of snow because she was still a kid.
I don't have fond memories of snow.
No, you don't. You don't. You don't. I'm making my little sand traps in here like that. I'm going to come over here like this. I think I want something a little grayer than that. Let's take a little bit of purple and red.
We have a comment from, I'm probably saying it wrong, but Hadeel, Hadeel. Amazing drawings. I'm a novice, but your tutorials are so deeply detailed in the finest points. I really appreciate your dedication and the time you spend producing these videos. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate that. That's very nice. Thank you, because we spent some time on them. It's nice. Appreciate it. Thank you. Lovely, yeah. And also, when we're talking about thanking people, I want to thank the. After the last show, we didn't get a chance to thank the people from our PayPal over on our website that they'd donated to our scholarship fund. And
it's always greatly appreciated.
That's greatly appreciated. We have that letter from the lady that got scholarship too, right? So we can.
It should be right there in front of you.
I'm going to read it, share that because somebody got scholarship, thanks to you guys, in our academy. Okay, so people will say, well, what is the difference between the academy? See, I'm just kind of making a sandy color with a little bit of white. What's the difference in the academy? The academy is on all different levels of art. We start off with the very basics, like you've never seen art before, and never touched a paintbrush, but then we assume that at some point you're going to get better, and you guys did. You kept getting better and better, so we kept making the paintings harder and harder. And if you can back out a minute, John, I want to show one.
I am doing that.
This is a painting that was originally done, I want to say Vincent van Gogh, but it wasn't. It was
the other guy?
one of our other old dead artists. So Vincent van Gogh does have have another painting with a pipe, because he was a pipe smoker too. But anyway, this is and it shows you. You can see all the texture in it. This is one of the videos that we have that I thought would make a marvelous Father's Day gift. You know, for someone that wanted. That's in the Academy. I thought that was kind of neat. And if you're looking for something else to paint for Father's Day, and you've got a little time. This is if you've got a baseball fan. This is another great Academy lesson for, you know, step by step. Just me talking, no Jon. Just me talking, no commercials.
Oh, no Jon. Boy, there's a
no
slam.
commercials. No commercials. No. Step by step lesson on how to paint something like this. So that you may like that. I just thought I would share that with you. And then, if you're a member of our Wave and Water Masterclass, we will be releasing this tomorrow. Our rainbow trout. And just wanted to let you know about that. So that's another one of these really fun Father's Day, you know, something you could do. And then, of course, remember, a few weeks ago, last month, we did the father and son painting on the dock on YouTube. Remember that? That's still up there.
They were painting on the dock. I really swear they were fishing.
They were fishing. That's right. They were fishing on the dock. Yeah, you're right, Jon. They were fishing on that. But they were on a dock and they were doing something. Yes, yes. So I just mentioned that because there's regardless of what you know, Dad's into, we've got some stuff. We
got something there for Dad.
We got something, you know. And if he's you know, like we even got a tutorial on lemon meringue pie if he's into that, right? Might be a fun one. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and start with my darkest green. If you didn't have a dark green, how you would make it would be ultramarine blue.
Oh, somebody wanted to know how you made the blues in the water. Well, you had all the different blues.
Well, I had the Salvador kit has all those blues, but basically you're talking about ultramarine blue and white and a little purple, and then you're talking about a little bit of phthalo blue and white. Basically is how I made those. So dark green is made with using ultramarine blue, if you didn't have green, and a little bit of, say, cad red medium and some yellow.
Excellent choices.
And you start with the blues first. So we're going to come along here like that and bring our... We have to have the dark green. This all has to be dark. So we're just doing that now. This is our darkest color. Jon used to golf. He was a big golfer. And we have another Academy member, Michael Fettis, and he golfs. And went to Arizona and painted some golf course there. And, you know, generally speaking, it's just a lot of grass. So, yeah, you're wondering, how interesting can you make this painting, you know? We did one last fall on YouTube. It was Augusta in the fall.
Yep.
And that's still on YouTube. That was a cool one, if you know. But it's, I mean, I'm doing kind of more of a summary one now.
All right. We'd like to thank Joanna for the donation that came in through the PayPal link.
Wow, thank you very much, Joanna. That's very kind. And so you can see, we're kind of, when you're painting with dark green, you've got to get to the dark, like grass, right? You've got to do the darkest color first, okay? And then you kind of build your way up. So that's what we're doing now, is that we're saying that this area in here, we're going to make this even a kind of a dark brown color up this part, a little bit of red here. In this part, we'll just change this a little bit. I'm going to just take cad red and a little bit of magenta, and I'm going to just paint this all dark red here. Because red and green are complements, and that'll make maybe something a little more interesting. That'll separate out these two areas on our canvas of the grass and the grass that's mowed and the grass that isn't. How's that? Kind of what do they call that? The rough. See, I knew a golf term.
Where's the rough?
The rough. This is the rough, right?
Yep, you're in the rough right now.
This is in the rough. The red part's in the rough. See, we know a few things.
Yeah, we do. You know? Bob used to play golf, and he was on the golf team in college.
Really? Yeah, you know, one of my friends is an artist. You know what her husband does? He plays, or her son rather, he plays frisbee golf. It makes money at it.
That's an excellent game. Well,
he makes money at it.
You can make money playing video games. Had I known.
I know. I mean, you know, we just wasted youth, right? Doing the
yeah,
wrong thing.
Really.
You know, it's funny. I remember when I went to college, the first year I went to college, Um, when I was a kid, bridge was something adults did. They all came over and people played bridge. It was
Yes.
a very socially
Yeah, bridge night.
acceptable. Was you had bridge night, and so um, I thought maybe I should. My brothers all played. They were married, grown up, and played, and I thought I should learn. So I went over to this Methodist church, and they had this recreation center. I can still remember it. And there's kids down there, pretty much 24 hours a day playing bridge, you know, and so they taught me how to play, and I got so addicted to bridge, I was skipping classes, man. I just wanted to play bridge. That's all I wanted to do. And I've never played it again because I realized that that was a game that was just for me. I had I recognized. I thought that was pretty good at 17. Don't you think, John, to recognize I had a very addictive personality?
Yes.
And
I think it's an excellent that you did that, and
because I mean, it's not that.
you self-corrected, right?
I self-corrected. I just, because I realized that that was something that so caught my attention that everything else was.
I never learned to play bridge.
Everything else was sort of, whatever, right? All right, we're going to go back to the dark green, and we're going to come back up here like this on top here.
If you're in a painter's slump, do you try and force yourself out of the slump?
Well, I'll tell you the thing that happens to be, it depends why you paint. This comes down to why are you painting. One thing we know is that there's only two things that reverse aging in the brain. One is painting and the other is composing music. So if you're one of these people that do sit-ups in the morning or go for a walk, just painting a little bit, even if it doesn't turn out the way you wanted it to, is good for your brain, whether you're successful at it or not. So that would be a good reason to paint, right? If you have a tendency to be self-critical and you judge yourself all the time, right? Rather than see this as a skill, you see this as some sort of defect if you don't have the talent. This is a skill-based endeavor. Talent is an imagination. Talent is the guy that invented the escalator. And skill are the people that keep making it. And if you're learning anything, any kind of skill, if you don't become a brain surgeon overnight, you don't suddenly magically one day wake up and say, I'm an artist, but it's a skill you can learn, and you can learn it step by step. And we have seen it over the 5 years John and I have been doing this. We've seen some amazing
we're pushing
artists
6 years,
emerge.
boss.
And it's all, how long?
6 years.
6 years, yeah. And there's always room for improvement for everybody. It's one of the.
Oh, I've seen improvement from Ginger when we first got together. What she's doing now.
And I have better teaching skills than I did. Better ways to explain it.
Because from you guys, you tell us, we learn from you on what you need and how you need to be taught. Because she's teaching one way, and all of a sudden you're not understanding it. And then she reevaluates it and tries to address it a different way.
Yeah. What's another way I can say it? But and everybody sits there and says, I see this all the time. I see somebody that said, well, I've just painted this. I didn't have a tutorial. I didn't have a reference. And I just made this up. I need help.
It came out of my head.
There's no help there because it came out of your head. It's like going to the hairdresser and saying, hey, I really think Gina Lollobrigida looks great. Or, I don't know.
Somebody
somebody that you like. I liked her haircut back in 1952 or whatever it was.
Can you do that?
You don't have a picture, nothing. I think it kind of went like this, and then there's something here. And don't you think I'd look a lot? I don't want you to do it. And the hairdresser's going, what? Even with the picture, they struggle. A lot of them, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm just saying that it's just there's, you guess if you think about reference photo like a cheat sheet. A cheat sheet.
It's all it is.
Tells you where everything was. Now, sometimes the photos, they take them with wide-angle lenses, and you sit there and say, well, it's a photo, so it must be true, and that's not true either, because sometimes, and not everybody that takes a photograph is a good photographer, and not every photograph makes a good painting, but it's a start. How's that? It's a start.
Hey, we'd like to thank Alan for the donation. I wish I could stay awake longer. Great subject. Choice, as always, the best YouTube channel ever. Stay safe, everyone. Well, I hope he's still with us. I want to give you guys an update in the outer reaches, the international people that are having trouble getting the Salvador kit. we have gotten word from my contact. We have managed to add the listing to Amazon. It's going to take them a while to get supplied. But you can start getting orders in. They're going to be international, different prime world. The coupon code for international sellers is GCookWorld15.
How cool is that?
So you guys have your own discount code.
All right, that's great. Okay, John, I'm back here using a little mixing white. I'm gonna come in here like this. Just doing that. Isn't that good? I mean, don't you love it when people listen? You know, there's a problem and someone heard us. Mostly, I feel when I'm talking to different paint companies about things, I feel it's
they just don't even listen.
Shouting down a well or something.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, everybody, it goes to somebody, but not who you need it to go to, and it sort of dies there. These people are wonderful. They really hear it. Now in my photo, I'm going to just take you start with it, when you're making waves, you start with the mixing white first. Kind of wiggle it back and forth and lift the brush up. Okay? Just lift the brush up. There you go. Wiggle, lift, wiggle, lift, wiggle, lift. Okay?
Wiggle, lift.
Wiggle, lift. Okay? And then we're going to say that back over here, and then this back in here is kind of flat here behind it. This is some little bit flatter stuff. Let me get a different brush.
It's not the way Lynn wrote it.
Wiggle, lift.
No, that's the discount coupon code. It's GCookWorld15. They only have so many characters.
Okay. Now I'm going to bring this over here. This one's going to come this way, right? And then we're going to suggest that there's different, like a cloud, there's different parts of the splash that are coming. See what we're just doing? And then this underneath here is all going to be kind of light here, kind of a little bit of the blue showing it through. This is all zinc white right now. See? And we're just going to keep everything kind of level. And I'm going to just come under here with a little bit of magenta and blue. And a little bit of white, I think.
Hey, we'd like to thank Virginia for the donation. She set herself up on a monthly little subscription for us. Thank you very much.
Oh, Virginia, thank you very much. That is awesome. All right, so we're going to do a little bit of this purple under this wave, but I'm going to make it a little bit darker here. The waves are the darkest. It's kind of at the bottom here, so we'll just do that a little bit darker. Now, all right, everybody's with me. So far, I'm going to put a little bit of a cloud here, a little bit of a shadow here. There's always shadows, just not white. There's always little shadows, see? You see by adding the shadow, what we did for the rest of this? Now, let's go into titanium white, and starting at the top of the wave, just bring it over. Just pull and lift it, kind of curve it if you can. Lift up. There you go. And then we'll just do a little bit of the titanium white here. There you go, just kind of dot that around like that. Alright, so there's our, now we're into titanium. Here's our next level of white. You see, zinc white is almost, it almost looks kind of a light gray when you have it on the painting, okay? So let's bring this out here like that. Let's come back up under here like this, because I got a little bit too much of the wave here. Let's just come back a little bit here. Break that up so it still looks like it's falling over. See what I did? So falling over. Then this area in here, this is all just surf that's already broken here like that. Okay, so there's our back wave. Neat, yes and yes. There. All right.
You did a good job on that.
So that's pretty.
I'm impressed.
It's pretty easy, and then I'm going to go back and come back here with just some zinc white now again, because that's dry. And in front of that beach a little bit, I'll just do a thin. Just suggest that there's some water coming around there too, like that, just in the background, a little bit back there. I think I'll take some titanium white because that's not showing. There we go. Okay.
Punch it up a little bit.
Just punch it up a little bit. It doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt to just allow for that. Yes. To keep this level, zigzag these little pockets of water. Okay. Next to that. Well, you wouldn't want to drop your ball in there, would you? That'd be bad. I could see already that would not be a good thing. Okay, so I think what I would like to do is just let this sit here for a second and dry for just a minute before I do the grass. We're about halfway through.
That'd be the rest of the rough area.
Yeah. Well, we haven't done the top part either.
Did you ever answer how do you get out of the painter slump?
Well, you have to ask yourself why do I paint? Start a list of why you're painting.
Are you doing it just for fun? Are you doing it to make a living, a little extra income?
Yeah. We got a very nice thank you from a gal by the name of Kathy, who wrote, "Dear Ginger and Jon, the delight and shock of receiving not only 1 month scholarship at the Academy from," and I'll leave the name blank who gave it to her, right? But also a 1 month scholarship from you guys, and more than I could have hoped or dreamed. I am truly blessed, thank you, and too humble to express how I feel, but a big thank you to all my love and gratitude. She says, I designed this card for you. I signed my work. There it is. Isn't that nice? See? I mean, even, look, this is a beautiful card, but even if you just took your paintings and had fun and made cards and wrote people nice letters, that's a nice thing to do with art. Just, why do you paint? You know, are you painting to just, something to do because you're kind of bored? Have you run out of wall space? So now, did you only paint to decorate your walls? And once you got those up, then you're over it? Are you painting to just try to learn a new skill? Are you painting, you're hoping to sell your paintings? A lot of reasons to paint. A lot of good hobbies are totally ruined when you're trying to turn them into a business. You know, maybe when you put your work out there for sale, maybe somebody criticized it, makes you feel bad, then you don't want to paint anymore. Maybe a family member painted, right? So I think slumps can happen that way. And sometimes, Jon, it happens is you just don't feel good. You physically don't feel good, so you don't have any energy to paint. I think that happens to people, too.
That's true.
Now, do you remember who sent you this, Jon?
I do, Jenny, my Canadian buddy.
This came from, Jon got his
tractor. I get to do my own tractor.
Look at that. Look at that. He got a tractor. Jenny sent him a tractor. She sent me a book. And she
sent me a tractor puzzle, and I get to paint it and everything.
And everything, you guys. So how fun is that? So that was very kind. Thank you very much. Wanted to show that.
And she gave a book as well. Appreciate that. We love getting gifties.
So thank you,
guys.
It
makes our trip to the post office that much more fun.
All right, so what I want to do here is I wanted to do the light grass. Now, one of the things I tell people is, in your artwork, try to avoid golf course green, except when you're painting a golf course. Right?
See, there's always exception to rules.
Yeah, so if you didn't have, you're going to start off with yellow because that's the main, you need a light green. You could use blue or any green. You want a nice, light, bright green. Put a little tiny bit of magenta in it so that you toned it down just a bit. And here's this nice light green. Then what you do, so you see I used my brush to mix it with. So that's too much paint on the brush. Now I'm going to come up here like this and just tap it on there. And it needs to be lighter. So I'm going to take some zinc white and add to that because I want it lighter, but let's see how that is. Yeah, that's pretty good. You see that? So all I did to lighten that green at that point was to use zinc white, and I'm just tapping it on here. Because I want to suggest grass. I'm just tapping it. Don't get very far before I have to add more green. But here we go. Here's along this little ledge here, the little part of the hill. Just tapping it. A little bit more of the zinc white in that. Lighten that up. Because that got a little dark on me. Here we go, tapping it in. Now, it comes down on the other side, it comes down in front kind of like this. It comes down this way. And then on the right-hand side, it's a little bit darker. there's there's a little bit more shadow on this side, so I put a little bit more green with that. And here's but I want a little red in there too, because I want it more olive, kind of in this case. I want it much more olive green. So put that along here, right along the edge, right along this edge here. I'm going to say that there's our darker green. Let's see, more olive. So here's a little magenta in the green, a little bit of yellow. Even when I have greens, I still want to mix it. Does that make sense? Because there's hundreds of greens, and they just gave me 4 here. So I have to mix it. Make sense?
Well, that's usually what you've been doing for years.
Yeah, you just have to mix
that
it
is
a
one
bit.
color that we didn't really buy.
Yeah, we in the academy, we don't suggest you buy green. You just learn to mix it, and then you always have it. All right, so we're coming along in the front of this here, like that. We're saying that there's our, it's the top of our golf course here. And I want to get a little bit of the ultramarine blue and green here, because this is really in shadow right here, right like that. So we'll make sure we have that. And the same thing here, there's like this shadow area on the back side of this little bunker thing here, sand trap thing. Okay, so there that is. It's coming along. Do they have flags stuff like here, John? Or
There is
just
a flag in that picture. It's in the center.
in the middle here?
Yeah, it's further back.
Like
it's
over
really teeny tiny.
Okay, so you barely see it. All right, so
Yeah.
that's why we didn't put a flag in. I mean, so now the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to add some gold grass. I want some gold grass here. And I want to come up in this area here. Let's see, put a little bit of magenta, and I think I need to put some more magenta out. I used it up. Okay. All right, there you go. All right, here we go, like that. A little more gold in this.
Jen wants to know, is green the color you make the most shades of?
Green and blue, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, because you're talking about either blue greens or olive greens. So, for instance, I tell people the good way to remember that is that if ultramarine blue is the color of the Atlantic Ocean, you think about West Point and camouflage tanks and the military and so forth. So if you add yellow to ultramarine blue, you get all these camouflagey green colors. Okay? But if you want more of these bright turquoisey colors like Hawaii, then think of phthalo blue, Phthalo, phthalo blue, as more of the tropical blue, because that's going to give you the turquoisey blues, and when you add yellow to it, it'll give you those bright greens. All right, kind of like that green right there, that really bright green. And you can get a very nice olive green using phthalo blue, because you can add enough red to phthalo blue, and you can get an olive green. But you cannot get a tropical green with ultramarine blue. So if you could only afford one, buy phthalo.
You can do the most with it.
You can do the most with it. And for years, that's all I ever used was just phthalo. Never even bought ultramarine blue.
Can you talk about your lighting setup? I find the lights either too glary or too low. Ours are glary. When I'm over there painting, it's too glary for me to paint. I don't know quite how Ginger does it as well as she does. Sometimes when we're doing our lessons, she will have to tip it up because she can't see the true color.
One thing that does help me is that I have a just tapping in some green here. You guys see that? I have a television screen in front of me, a monitor, a nice big monitor, And
So it's
and
like
so
her
when I
stepping
look
back
up,
from it.
I'm looking at what I'm painting. Instead of standing up and backing away from it or holding it up to a mirror, I'm looking at it in my television screen, which is is extremely helpful for me. Yes and yes.
Yes.
So that's something that you may not even think about, anybody doing. See how we just keep changing the greens here, right? Can you see that? Just keep changing want this corner a little darker.
Hello, Eric Erickson in the house. Just a heads up, in the Ginger's meet and greet, we are still on for the annual meet and greet in Las Vegas on the October 21st through the 26th. We now have 726 members in the meet and greet little room.
Wow. Okay. That's great, Eric. That's perfect.
Have to see how that works out
Yeah.
as we get closer.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very interesting. Okay. So while I could work a little bit more on my sand trap here with this. I want to it needs to be in the shadows here. So let's take a little bit of purple and a little bit of yellow. And let's make this kind of gray color, maybe a little ultramarine blue with that. There we go. I like that. That's kind of a nice kind of a shadow color. Well, my brush had a lot of green on it, so maybe that wasn't so successful. Plan B. Let's take the magenta color, a little ultramarine blue, and see what kind of a color I get there. All right, that's kind of nice. And a tiny bit of yellow, like less than 1%. I don't want to turn stuff green. A little bit more blue. Try a little lighter blue in it. There we go. All right, I'm going to say that's my shadow color. So I'm going to come along here like this. Right like down like this on my, it's kind of a glaze on my sand trap. And I want to say that there's my shadow, and I'll do the same thing right here. On this one, I'm going to say there's my shadow color on the sand. And
maybe an October Vegas wedding? One wouldn't rule it
well,
out.
we haven't ruled it out. We haven't ruled it out. John and I have not decided to travel anywhere until it's safe
We're
to
still
travel.
of that age group, they say.
So yeah, we're still at that age group. So we're reluctant to travel anywhere, but we were definitely giving Las Vegas some thought for a wedding. Right, so you're right. We definitely were giving that some thought. All right, so we're going to lighten this up now. A little bit more yellow and come down here like that. This is our second coat. All right, so there we go. This is the second coat, and bring that off of here like this. Okay.
David would like to have this in the Wave and Water Masterclass done bigger, please.
Who would like that?
David.
David? Yeah, I think it could be done bigger, but I want to do it longer. Sitting here. Yeah, I think I would love to do that.
Probably has to be one of the long. I don't think I have any more of those. One size I would do it on.
So you can see that right now we're just right now. Okay, so see, I'm using the brush at an angle now. Using that kind of light green here, like that. There's a little brush at an angle.
Yeah, we're just going to see how the rest of the world does. Let them be the guinea pig for a while.
I know, aren't we bad? We're just terrible, right? Let's just see, here's another little clump
Well,
of
we
grass
got busy.
here.
We have things to do at home. We don't need to go anywhere.
Yeah, that's true. We have things to do at home.
Yeah, this will probably eventually end up in the Wave and Water Masterclass.
I think that's an absolute great suggestion. Well, just John and I probably spent 2 hours looking for a good painting, a good reference photo of a golf course.
It took 3, and I had to combine them to get what I wanted.
Yeah, because John plays golf, so he had ultimately, he was
So I knew what I wanted to do.
He knew how kind of had it look, right? And I thought I either wanted the desert or the ocean behind it. That was my thing. I either wanted a golf course that had the desert or the ocean behind it for sure. And see how we're just lightening things up here. And
In the rough.
in the rough here.
Yeah, that looks like some pretty rough too.
Well, yes.
Well, there's some rough, and then there's some really rough, and that's a really rough.
That's the really rough stuff, right?
Yep. It'll grab that club when you try to get out of it.
You can't just pick it up and throw it. That's considered cheating.
Hello.
Just
Pick it
ask
up
him,
and
right?
throw it. Jeez, oh Pete.
No,
Security here. Do I have a problem? No, Morgan, it's okay. All
well,
right.
you know what's kind of funny is that there was a friend of mine. This is a true story. I have to tell you this story because it's great. This was, I don't know, 30, 40 years ago, and there was a paper airplane throwing contest where you fold up a sheet of paper and throw like an airplane and throw it, and the guy wins. That his little plane goes the furthest, right?
Right.
Best folds. So it was inside a gymnasium, and my friend was the last one to go. He said he wanted to be last. So we waited until everybody was done, and then he took his piece of paper and he wadded it up and he spit all over it, and then he just threw it.
He
and
won
they
them.
had to give him the money because it was in the rules. They changed the rules after that, but he got the money that time. People were really mad. They felt that it was a total cheat, and it sort of was. But he just said, "Listen, I didn't make up the rules. I get that. Don't you guys kind of get that? I didn't make up the rules." So lighten this up a bit up here. Third time.
Ooh, you could do a golf series, holes from around the world.
Do you think people would like that? You guys? I don't know.
There's a lot
Would
of
they?
people out here that like what you're doing, so yes.
Yeah, well, because this is, we get our feedback from you. So, if you think so, put a little bit of brighter green in here.
Barbara would like to say, Ginger, you inspire me so much. I would never be where I am now without you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I'll tell you what, it's a doable thing. It's fun to do, and what you come up to think to do with your paintings and stuff, what people think to do is, I get inspired by what you guys paint. Because I'll come up with an idea and maybe I'll do something and someone will have added a cat at the bottom or something. I'm like, that was a good idea. Never thought of doing a cat. This is what I mean about imagination. You can't, people have, sometimes it's just having the skill to facilitate the imagination you're already doing. Does that make sense? I'm using my brush now at an angle here. These are bigger.
John, is there a golf course in Canada? I'm not in Canada, but I'm sure they have golf courses. Michigan has the most golf courses per capita.
Did
Yep.
you know how many people are killed on golf courses by lightning?
A lot.
Every year, a lot.
A lot.
That
is not the place to be. And you wonder why.
And
It's no different than an open field.
That was the and the other thing is mushroom poisoning. That's the other thing people seem to that there's more deaths from that a year than people would give it credit. Mushroom poisoning. We go out and gather mushrooms and didn't quite. That's where you need an artist to identify shape and color, right? No,
Yes.
That doesn't look like the picture. I'm sorry. Did you think it did? No. That's not the picture. Why would you think that was the picture?
Golf courses are all over the place in Canada. I figured Canada would have them.
Oh yeah, everybody. I think this is something
It's kind of a universal.
play everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
It seems to me it is anyway. Gonna make this a little taller here. It's kind of fun. I mean, don't you think so? You guys, it's kind of fun. This painting's kind of fun.
Kind of fun, yeah.
Kind of just.
Sure. You think so? Mm-hmm.
Don't know. You don't think so? No?
I don't know. I don't get to do it. I get to clean the brushes and do the backgrounds. That's all I get to do.
Oh, that's true. So I guess you wouldn't know, would you? So.
I have no clue.
Poor you. Poor you. Poor you, John.
Yep.
All right, let's make
Life
more
is tough.
sand. Let's make more sand color. Let's see, a little bit more purple on that sand color.
And remember, if you would like an opportunity to win this or a Salvador paint set, be sure to enter our drawing.
Yeah, you got to enter to win. Yes, yes.
You got to enter it to win it.
Got to enter to win it, right? All right, I'll get this color yet. There we go.
Oh, and I get to varnish, right. Oh, thanks. Remind me of that.
Yes, you get to varnish. John gets to varnish too. Yes and yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try this again. I wanted this a little bit lighter than I had it, the sand.
Because we're carrying metal Metal lightning rods. Well, I never thought of it that way.
Well, I can remember being with Cinnamon and when she was a kid, and we were in Colorado on the horses, and we were way up high on this hip mountain, and it was above timberline, and we were riding, and the started to rain and lightning and storm, and then horses can get hit by lightning. Guess what? And they're wearing metal shoes.
Ouch.
And we screamed down that mountain, and just to her dad's rather crummy stories about how dangerous this way and people could get hurt. And I got to tell you, I wasn't the least bit interested in, I got it. We just didn't need to frighten the kid any more than she was, right? And he had all these stories, and I guess somebody had told us, somebody else had, just the day before or two, had told us about how lightning had hit their horse, and the horses had fallen down, and all his shoes had come off. And I mean, there were some stories, man.
There is.
There's some stories.
Lenny suggests, I think Mr. John should be Sir John, and Queen Ginger should knight him.
Oh,
I like that.
Yes, knight John. Okay, you could do that, John.
So I can be a knight. What do you guys think of that, huh?
Yeah.
Little stuffy staff wants to be knights now.
You know that's where Cinnamon met her husband John at one of those creative anachronism weekends, where they dress up like knights.
Say that again.
Creative anachronisms.
What? What's that first word?
Creative.
No.
Anachronisms.
No.
What? What?
Recreate.
Oh, recreating. Well, they recreate the past, right? Whatever it is they do. It's very strange to me, but when they were younger, they did that. They were all into that, right? They were absolutely all into that, for sure. See how I lighten this grass, but it's still
isn't that how they got married? They got married at one of the
They got married there at the Renaissance Fair.
Yeah, the Renaissance Fair.
They got married at the Renaissance Fair, absolutely.
Hey, we could do that.
No.
No, we could do that.
Yes.
We choose not to.
Yes.
But we could.
That's right. All right, so I'm going to put a little of this brighter, just a little bit of this brighter color.
Yeah, that is really looking pretty darn nice there, lady.
This is kind of little ground cover. I didn't want to get, you got to be careful with that. I mean, part of me that likes Thomas Kincaid and that group wants to put flowers all over, but don't do it. They're not going to like it then,
No.
No, none of that. So I'm just going to add a little bit of this orange color because...
Janie says I'll always be Prince Charming.
Yes. I want a little orange color up in here.
Yes. There's an acknowledgement for you. Yeah. Whatever.
Well, there you go. I'm going to just put a little of that orange color up in the front because it needed it. How's that? Does that make sense?
Oh, Angel says in the last 10 years, the U.S. has averaged 27 lightning fatalities per year. Yeah. 27 per year on all the golf courses. That's really not a bad record. Think about it.
No, unless you're one of the 27, then it sucks for you, right?
That is true.
It sucks for you, man.
Yeah.
Whoa, it is a shame, right?
Yeah.
Well, you guys, I think we're pretty close to being finished with this.
Finet.
I think so. I feel like we have it.
I think you've captured
I feel like we've captured it. Do you think we've captured it?
Yeah.
I just want to wake this up a bit and put this back. I want to come sneak
Nothing
back
like an
up
intimidating hole with a big old wave crashing at you as you do your drive to it.
Sneak back in there with the sand a little bit. Yeah, you've got that wave, and it was pretty tall. Actually, I could have even made it a little taller because of
that was a big one.
This was a really big one.
Yeah.
Did you know what happens? This is not that far from, California. La Jolla, California has a kind of a walkout. You can go down to La Jolla, down to the waterfront, and they have a place where you can park. It's a state park, and you can walk out on these rocks, and they tell you nobody goes beyond this point. And of course,
everybody does.
Somebody wants to go behind that part because what happens is that what people don't appreciate is that the waves are coming in and they don't look very big, but waves come in sets. So there's a small set, there's a big set, and way back there, surfers are sitting out there waiting for hours for the big set to come through. But if you get hit by one of the big ones, it'll take you right out, riptide right out to sea, and you're gone. And every once in a while, I guess you could look that up too, they lose.
You snooze, you lose.
See, I'm just going to make that.
Okay, so now you better get in if you want to go for this possibility of owning this fine painting.
Yeah, you guys, let's get to it because I'm about done here. Just put a
One
little
of my
of this red
teachers
in
in
here.
high school was struck twice on a golf course. I would quit playing golf.
Well, yeah. Well, but you know what? I still rode horses, and and I just took the chance. I think you do what you like to do.
Yeah.
And if you don't like to do it, then you come up with some silly reason why you're not doing it. That everybody thinks. If you can come up with a good enough reason, then everybody goes, "Oh yeah, I dig that. Yeah, yep, I get it."
Brenda says she got struck by lightning with her hand in the gutter. Why are you out in the gutter when it's raining and storming, people?
Well, who knows, right?
Well, apparently she knows. She did it. She must know why she was out there.
Yeah. Well, maybe so. All right. So I've got this zinc white now, and I'm just.
PJ says bride and grooms get washed away off Monterey every year.
Isn't that interesting?
Do people just not even think anymore?
Well, maybe not, huh? All right, so there's your.
No, Pam, there's
distant
no
waves.
pole or hole flag in this one. It's wintertime and the course is actually closed. It's really teeny tiny because we're really far back.
All right, so I'm going to move this up like this. Turn this over.
No, you won't.
No, why not?
Oh.
So what do we got to show that on? Anything?
Well, nothing right there handy, I don't think.
I want something handy. What's this?
You
Here,
got
this is nice. Let's put it on this.
Red? That'd be good.
Can
With
you
all
guys
that
see
green?
it on red? I don't know. Maybe better it's on green. Here.
Green on green.
Yeah, there you go. Green's
There it
good.
is. That's what we're going for.
All right, that's what we're giving away, you guys.
That is what's being given away right here, right now, before your very eyes. And we have, how many people
Just
are
real
listening?
quick, I just want you to see the reference photo. When you're a member, if you want the reference photo for this, right? And you want the reference photo for this, what you need to do is go to Beginner Acrylic Academy and become a basic supporter, or if you're an Academy member already, a senior Academy member, register, and you can then, we have the reference photos for everything, all the Quarantine Quickies, all the videos that are reference photo have no ads, and we go back to January with the reference photos for everything for YouTube, including all the Quarantine Quickies, and the actual photos, the pictures that I did, and all that. So that's where you get the information. Become beginneracrylicacademy.com.
Beginneracrylicartist.com.
Beginneracrylicartist.com. Sorry.
There's another domain name I've got to go buy.
Beginneracrylicartist.com. Yes. Yeah.
Hopefully with our plans, we're going to go down to one website the first of the year.
Yeah. So there you go. We've got
That's our big goal.
So here, let's review. We've got our.
Should we review?
We've got our background.
Yep.
This is our middle ground, and this is our foreground. Okay?
So the water is really the middle ground.
Well, the water's the middle ground, and this is our center of interest right here.
Yeah, okay, I got you.
With this area right here. That's
And
our
that
center of
foreground's
interest.
the rough.
The foreground's the rough kind of.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm with you, sister. All right, how many people want this lovely painting? 312.
Now remember, also we're going to be doing a drawing for a brand new set of the Salvador
paint
paints, which I don't have a box of. Well, where's my box? Well, John will get that. I want you to so people see what they're getting, because you're getting the 12 brushes, the 24, actually 25 tubes of paint, and
Yes,
all
25.
kinds of neat stuff. So I just want to mention that, and that's so kind. I mean, Salvador's doing it, you know, and they're shipping it anywhere in the world. They said they ship it anywhere in the world, which I think is really nice. And so it's not just something for the United States or maybe just Canadian. They'll ship it to you. Here's what the set looks like
Well,
with
you
the big
get-
tube of white. You
get that
get
too.
the little paying here that you get the brushes.
I believe it's called a palette.
All
A can.
12 brushes, 25 paints. It's a neat set, and they're retails for $25 on Amazon. But if you use our 15% discount code,
It's less.
it's less. It's less. Yes, yes, it's less.
There
so
you go.
I think it's important to mention that because because I think people say, well, I still use my big tubes of paint, and I paint my big paintings with big tubes of paint. But I love these for small paints. The quality's good. I'll travel with these. I really like them. And I
Now
really
it's not a heavy body that some of you may be used to. It's a soft. It's a kind of between a soft and a
it's
and a
between
heavy.
a soft and a hard body paint. It's sort of in between. So it's a good beginner paint too. I think, even though it's professional, and it's good. I think it's good for people starting out or beginners because you don't have to learn to mix so many colors. You can just kind of have some colors. Might be helpful. I don't know. So who won this, John? Who won this nifty
Winner
painting?
of the golf hole number 7 is that person.
All right, so he's
Linda Ciro, S-E-R-I-O, yeah. Cirio.
Where's Linda from?
Linda is from the great state of Florida.
From Florida. Well, they
Another
have a lot of
golfing
golf
capital.
courses in Florida, don't they?
Yeah, they got a bunch down there.
All right. Linda, congratulations.
So now we need a winner chicken dinner for the Salvador paint set. And that is going to go to that person there. Gotta go find who that person is.
Yeah.
It's all the way at the
While
other
John's
end of the
looking at
list.
that, I want to mention something real quick.
Please do.
Every week in our academy gets a new tutorial. Again, just my voice and step-by-step instruction. And this week we just released our Hudson River view with the coffee, and it's part of a series. I probably think I'm a little obsessed with coffee and coffee cups. Probably. Do you think I am?
Yes.
We've done that one. Here's another one. This is one of my
But see,
favorites.
they're all so different.
They're all different. We did this one on YouTube. That's on YouTube, you guys. That would make a nice Father's Day gift if you did this one and maybe just put Dad loved you with a heart, Dad with a heart or something. This would be a good Father's Day present. Don't discount that. Here's another wonderful one showing you how to use crackle paste. Another one in our academy. I've got more that I could even show you, but here's another one, just a small cup and some fruit and a still life, and we've got a few more. So, and also there's on YouTube, we have a coffee cup with some daisies. Somebody remembers painting? Don't have all of them because we sell a lot of our original art, but so if you're interested in doing that, think of collections.
We have to sell it. We don't have enough room to keep it all.
Think of collections. We have great collections of things. So, okay.
Daniela? Vienna? No, wait a minute. Vienna. Daniela Vienna is the winner of the Salvador paint set, and she is from the great state of Washington.
Washington State. All right. Congratulations.
So we went from one end of the country to the other.
Yeah, we went from Florida to Washington State. So,
matter of fact, Bellevue.
I grew up in Bellevue.
That's why I mentioned it.
Over on Clyde's Hill. So there.
Yeah, let's see you beat that.
I still remember that. I grew up.
Okay, so winners out there, when you write to me, please send me your mailing addresses. Unlike some people who just write and say, I won. And that's all they say. So we need your mailing address. Alan, I thought you went to bed. Thank you for your donation once again. Thanks for being you with the little guy. Oh, those little sticker guys.
Stickers are fun, aren't they?
They are fun. Well, I think that concludes another exciting round of Golf with Ginger.
Bye, guys. Thanks. Oh, here's the question that I want to ask you. What was it, John? I forgot. Why do you paint?
Oh, I already asked him that in my question.
Oh, you asked him that?
Yeah, that was my question.
Oh, that was your question. Well, then you took my question. So
I asked you I needed a question. What do you think I needed it for?
Well,
not for your question.
I guess the question that I'm going to ask is, right?
How serious are you about a golf series?
Yeah, would you want to see a golf series? I'm curious. Would you want to see a golf series?
Yeah. Hey, everybody, we'll be back Monday for another exciting lesson, 5:30 p.m. Central Time, same bat channel. Bye, everyone.
Punch.
Punch. You punch after I put this other screen. You can't. You punch late. Bye, everyone.
Bye.